everyone, hey, and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Quee. We are here previewing yet another King of the Ronalds card. We are King of the Ronalds fans at Battle Rap Resume. People don't seem to get that sometimes, but, you know, the cards are incredible, the battlers are incredible. An incredible battle that just happened was Tony D versus Hulk. Hulk, how's it go, man?
I'm good, man. How are you, bro?
I'm impressed, man, because it was a really, really good battle that just got released from an awesome event. I think it was probably the best release that I've seen so far. You know, it was an excellent contest. And then, you know, looking forward, the cards that you're on, you're battling Reverse Live on his UK debut. It's huge moves.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to kind of, I think that especially since I left Don't Flop and that, I kind of took a little bit of a backseat in the UK battle rap game and just kind of tried to help build King of the Ronald. And a lot of the battles I took were just because, oh, look, we need to fill this card. We need someone to battle so-and-so. All right, I'll do it. You know, and I kind of used myself and rinsed my brand for a couple of years. And then I just thought, you know what, this year I might as well just actually show people that I can actually rap.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this sort of respect for Hulk that is paramount now, that is huge, that has always been earned. But it seems like, you know, with someone like Reverse Live to handle his debut, he could be quite lethal.
Definitely. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not like the massivest Reverse Live fan from back in the day, like a lot of UK battle rappers are. I respect his legendary status, and that's, you know, like that's part of the reason why we've booked him and that. But to me, I just see him as another battler. So I'm not really like going into it kind of worried or anything like that. Like, I don't see him as absolutely amazing. Like I said, I respect his legendary status, and I thought it would be a good battle, to be honest.
But I mean, just before we get into this card, obviously just get into the battle, I just want to get into this card. Obviously before we get into this card, we'll get into the Tony battle. And, you know, it was a huge occasion, as I said, and you guys facing off. A lot of people would have said maybe unwarranted, if I'm playing devil's advocate, Hulk. I'm not saying I adhere to that, you know, but
definitely
people acted that way.
Definitely. I mean, you know, just reiterate, like, I never asked for Tony D. Like, I didn't expect to be battling Tony D. I didn't necessarily want to battle Tony D. Not to say that I didn't want to, because ever since I watched Don't Flop before I even battled, I thought, you know what, I'd like to. But if I can battle that guy, then that means I'm good in this battle rap thing. And obviously, like I said, it took a few years because I just kind of, you know, done my own thing and kind of fell back a bit. But yeah, I got offered, like, O'Shea and Bowski were setting up the card, and I literally got an inbox saying, yo, would you battle Tony D in Liverpool? And I was like, yeah. So it was literally that simple, man. I didn't ask for it. I know that, you know, I'm not people's top choice to be battling somebody like that, but it happened. So
yeah, a great performance by you both. You know, I think Tony had some incredible lines, the sort of, you know, fire tales like comets, and, you know, just the sort of intelligence that he always brings to all of the battles, man. And, you know, you faced off there, and it was you know, awesome write-off, as we say. And what did you make of his second round, his sort of he's your father, the looks round? It felt very second roundy to me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but when he started comparing me to Shrek, I said it's been done.
Right.
Because I think, I can't remember exactly who, but I've had like 40 odd battles, as Tony D pointed out. And obviously, yeah, it has been, like, even before I battled in it in school, whatever, like, someone would make a joke or something about Shrek. So it's not something like amazingly, you know, intricate, like it was kind of expected. But I think it was LNC might have called me Shrek before as well, a jump off.
Right. You know, Tony technically here is good, if a little predictable on the angles here, but, you know, you do the Bobby scheme, I think, towards the end of the first, that is really good. The sort of, you know, take Bobby's head off. You said the battle's already been booked, you and him.
Well, like, what happened was that we'd already spoke about doing it, and then I wasn't going to battle on A Few Good Men. So it was initially going to be me versus Bobby on A Few Good Men, and I wasn't going to battle. And I messaged Bobby saying, look, I'm not looking to battle. I want to focus. Because every time I battle while I'm setting up an event, what a lot of people don't understand is that when Mickey and Bowski set up events, it's very separate. So I haven't had no one set up any battles for me for this event. I got the flyer done. I set up the battles. I booked the venue. I'll be running around like a headless chicken on the day trying to get the battles. You know, people know what Mickey's like. He's going to get drunk. He's going to, you know, they like big breaks. They like to talk a lot. We've got a limited time in the venue. I'm going to be running around like a headless chicken. And I just really didn't want to have to battle on top of that. But then basically Yunnan hit me up and said that he's down to battle and that. No, tell a lie. I hit up Yunnan and said, get him on the card. and he said he wants to battle me. We arranged the fee. He said, yeah, definitely. I've got inboxes of him saying, trust me, I know people say I'm a no-show and this, that, and the other, but I'm definitely 100% on this, blah, 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 blah. And then I literally got a flyer dropped, and within like a day or two, he messaged me saying, I just realised it's so close to Premier Battles, I can't do it. So, and then basically I was thinking, well, fuck, now I've sold tickets on the premise that, I'm battling. I suppose I better give people a battle to watch. And the reverse live kind of thing came about kind of after that, really. So yeah, it was meant to be a Bobby originally.
Yeah, and that needs to happen, right?
Oh yeah, definitely it will. But I think as well, it's good that it isn't happening yet. I think we're both on a kind of upward trajectory, and I think we're just going to clash in the middle somewhere at the top. So I think it's the I wouldn't put it as big as something like Gemini and Soul, but you never know. In 2-3 years, we might be the Gemini and Soul of the scene, if you know what I mean. So I just think the more we keep going up, the better the build up's going to be. So the bigger the battle will be. So no need to rush it, really.
Who would win that out of interest, Gemini or Soul?
I'm going with Gemini because I prefer his style. Okay. I think Soul's great. I'll never take anything away from Soul. He's absolutely amazing and almost impossible to beat. But I just think that for me, preference-wise, watching it, I'd probably prefer Gemini.
Yeah. What, you can just tear through easier, you think? It's less florid?
Yeah, it's more digestible to me. I think it's a little bit more relatable as well. London kind of style as well. Just, I don't know. I think they're so equal that it would just literally be who do I find more comfort, enjoyable listening to. You know what I mean? So
sure. Following the heart. Yeah, I get that. And Gemini talks in facts. Tony talks in facts. He says Tony would have had the highest views on the channel if Fozzy didn't say the N word.
And there's actually a comment on the battle from Fozzy,
right?
Saying Tony, his name's Alex Foster. If you see the battle comments. Yeah. It says, Tony, you're just jealous, with a laughing emoji.
Oh man, need to get him on the show. I've said that earlier. Need to get him on the show. That would be the ultimate thing. I mean, he has lots of great stuff in here. Small, old, relatively cool star. That's a red dwarf.
Yep. Fire.
Holy shit, man. And equally to you, the trombone long nose stuff in the second was rightfully huge.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be at all, to be honest with you. It was just a kind of a bit of a mess around bar. It just kind of popped.
And we saw in the third, I think where you win the battle outright really is sort of just giving it this reality tinge that Tony just sort of went off here with the sort of, the shape of your face makes him an atheist, mate. And, he has little slip-ups here and there as well. I think you end concretely just with a lot of sort of don't flop truths, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a bit of an obvious angle I felt that hadn't been used yet, really. But I think in the whole situation of Don't Flop, if anyone was treated well and was given, a good kind of leg up, it was Tony D. I don't know their personal relationship, but from the outside looking in, you can't really see much where wronged Tony D. So for me, it was kind of like, well, hang on a minute. If given you all these great battles and paid you and made you champ, like back in the day when we started King of the Ronalds, a lot of those guys who was in that situation would turn around and say to us, no, I'm not going to battle for you guys because, I'm loyal. Urs looked after me so much. I'm not going to shit on him like that kind of thing. And I thought, well, now the whole scene's kind of shat on him. And Tony D's literally like Chalked Out's first big event, Tony D headline. Chalked Out's other event was Soul, Tony D headline. Code Red, Tony D was meant to be versus C Major and then versus Jims. And then obviously Tony D versus Hulk at KOTR. So it seemed like it's just kind of obvious that since Don't Flop disappeared, you're helping the rival leagues. So I said something about him helping the rival leagues build up, basically. So yeah, it's just very basic and just kind of a simple angle, really.
Yeah, it's awesome sort of slugfest. It has a great atmosphere to it. Really enjoyed this battle. Again, everyone do go and check out this battle. And at the end, you beat Tony D.
I beat Tony D.
You beat Tony D.
Did. A good few comments are saying I have as well, which is reassuring because I'm not going to lie. Like after the day, and it was quite a while ago. It was in December, and since then I've been thinking like when it comes out, I bet a lot of people are going to have a different opinion and say that I lost and blah blah blah. And a few people have, but I think the majority are still saying I won. So it's all good.
Yeah, man. And, we get into the card upcoming then, which is going to be Saturday the 28th of April. And it's very cool, Hulk, that this is taking place in Fiddler's Elbow. This is a first for Ronald's.
Yeah, it is. To be honest with you, because we had our kind of home venue, the Good Ship, closed on us recently.
Yeah.
And I wanted to end it off in a good venue for my last King of the Ronalds event. So I just went online actually and looked at venues, and Fiddlers was on one of the sites. So I thought I might as well drop them an email. What's the harm? And they got back to me, and they basically said that Chalked Out are using it a week or two after me or before me. Would it clash? So I basically hit up Ambi and said, look, I don't want to be stepping on toes and stuff. Do you think that it's going to affect your event if I put an event on there? And he said no. He put in a word for me as well. So shouts to Ambi and Chalked Out on that, man.
Yeah, that's sick, man. And this card then, how intimately are you involved? Did you organise the whole thing? Or?
Yeah, I organised the whole thing, man.
So all these battles are your choices?
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to go from the bottom, say Zen and Sherpa, I think they messaged me and asked me can they battle. So I said yeah. Basically, I think that's the only one. And obviously, a new addition's been added to it: Tidal versus Fighter.
Right.
Basically, Tidal messaged me saying can him and Loxy get a battle on the card. So I lined up them both a battle, and then Tidal's battle kind of fell through with this whole rape gate thing. This whole Rams gate or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Basically because Topher was getting kind of abuse for the whole covering up for Ramsey type thing. Everyone was saying that he was dropping out of the battle, and I messaged him and said, is it true you're dropping out of the battle? At King of the Ronalds, we don't really care about all that controversial shit. A lot of leagues will probably say, oh, we're not booking these people. We're not. For us, it's just even better. Like, you know what I mean? It's even more of a reason to book them. Like, but he was like, oh yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll let you know closer to the time. But if you want to take it off, just take it off. I didn't even respond to him. I just took it off. Like, that wasn't really an answer to me. Like, I'm not like, when you're setting up events and you're putting money in and time and effort, you're not sitting around waiting for some guy to decide whether he wants to take the opportunity. So I just took it off and told Tidal I'll give him someone else.
I mean, we'll start with Sherpa versus Zen then. Like, I'm familiar with Sherpa. Shout out John Whitmore. Had him on the show a few times. Great dude. Elder statesman of battle rap. Who is Zen? Like, I'm aware of him, but not really as a battling entity.
To be honest with you, Zen is so Zen came to a King of the Ronalds event in Acton, possibly the one you battled Murta at.
Right.
And that's the first time I met him, and I kind of recognized his face. And then a few days later, I saw him in my area and realized that he literally lives around the corner from me. And then he just started coming to loads of events. And then one day he said he'd battle, and he battled. He's got really like an abstract style, very sort of grotesque, sort of gothic, raps about hell and the devil and stuff a lot, and it's just different. It's just really different, to be honest with you.
And versus Sherpa, does that make sense? Or
they said they wanted to battle each other. I don't know how much sense it actually makes, but sometimes those kind of battles that, you don't really see the sense in them, they're the ones that end up being a good battle. I think they've both got really different styles, both quite clever with it. So it'll be interesting, yeah. And I think if Sherpa's saying he wants to battle him, I think he's probably got some sort of breakdown angle because, you don't usually just call out somebody who's probably on a lower level than you in terms of views and stuff, unless you've got something for them, really.
Yeah, again, Sherpa deserves to battle in this environment as well. It's a shame about him and Cashmore. It still haunts me because it would have been such a good matchup, but hopefully that'll go down. I think it was supposed to go down at the Birmingham Code Red event as well, which is sadly victim. But the next battle is an interesting battle. Two people who are fairly new on the scene, one of whom is having so much interest. One of the most exciting talents is Loxy. Also Frost. This is an intriguing one.
Very. Again, kind of Tidal hit me up and said, can you get me and Loxy a battle? And around the same time, Frost hit me up and said that he'd like a battle on the card. And I just thought, yeah, like Loxy's, she got quite good reviews from her first battle. So I thought, yeah, why not, man? I think Mickey he's openly said that he wants to push Loxy. He thinks she's really good. And he wants to push her as one of the new kind of faces of KOTR. And I know Frost is obviously on an upward trajectory as well. He's done good at dub. He's, you know, on short out and stuff now. So I thought, yeah, it'd just be a good match, really.
Yeah, this is. I think both of them are quite intelligent with it, and both of them have, you know, serious personalities at the forefront of what they do, and it's going to be fun to see them cross. Lex is back versus Chucky P. Is that right?
Yep,
That's cool to see him back, man.
definitely. I think again they're both kind of a bit overlooked, really. They both haven't done as many battles as they should have. Both got kind of online characters as well. It would just be, yeah, it would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, this is
Be interesting.
Definitely. Like, Chucky P is a sort of weaponized force in the ring. What do you think of his style?
I really like his style. I think what lets him down is obviously his online persona. I think the young generation, they write a lot of their feelings and thoughts online. And, you know, I think I've been there at some points, but I think a lot of the time you just learn, like, just don't write it. Sometimes he's trolling, sometimes he's not. You know, and I think he's wound up a lot of people. I think he's probably the most blocked person in UK battle rap.
What an honour.
Yeah, you know, but again, it's a character, innit? It's King of the Ronalds, innit? And I think a lot of it is out of the ring build up. It's the characters that people make of themselves that make it interesting for us to watch them in the ring. So
yeah, it's,
you know, and Chucky P's always bangs on about how great he is and how many views he got in his tryout and how much better he is than these guys who are getting the chances. And like I say to him, bro, battle, prove yourself, and you'll get the chances. A lot of I can't just go to Dialect and say, I want you to battle Bard. Dialect is going to turn around and say no. Now, if Bard goes out and kills it and then Dialect watches and says, I'll battle Bard, then, you know, it's out of my hands. But a lot of these guys think that we're not giving them chances for whatever personal reason. It's not. We need these bigger guys to want to battle you, and for them to want to battle you, they're going to want to see you killing it. And if you're not out there killing it, then it's not going to happen. So I think people are realizing that.
I really like Lex, I should say. I think some of his early battles are excellent versus Ambi, versus Yorks. You know, I really like his stuff there. I think he has some good stuff versus 142 as well. And, you know, excited to see him back on an incredible card. I should say shouts to Nathan Jones for designing the flyer as well. You know, my right-hand man. It's cool to see his work on the KOTR card. But, you know, very, very cool. But so, Sayo versus GEE. GEE had on the show recently. Love that guy. You know, versus Sayo. Is this going to be a new challenge for G-Dub or?
Yeah, I suppose he put up a post saying that, you know, he's going to start his streak up again. He had a great winning streak. He lost it. And I think, again, similar with like people like Lex and GEE, and that, I think they disappear for a while because of personal stuff in their life. And it's just good to see them in the mood and in the headspace to actually want to battle. For me, that's just good enough to see as it is, man, because there's so many good, like even the example of Tony D quitting, it's like there's so many good battlers and so many talented rappers in the scene who just don't want to battle for whatever reason. So to see these guys throwing it away and wasting it even before they've made like a big enough impact, like the Lexes and stuff and the Sayos and the GEE, you know, and kind of stop battling, it's hard to watch. But then when they come back, it's good to see that they're in that headspace to do it. They wanted to battle in Ireland, I think, and it got cancelled. And then Sayo messaged me basically and said that he wants to come and battle on this card, and he'll take GEE because he's got bars written for him. So
yeah,
no brainer.
Yeah, and G-Dub as well, fallen hero in a sense in KOTR mythology.
Yeah, definitely. You have to remember his first KOTR battle was versus CDB, and it was a running joke in the KOTR forum. If anyone don't know on Facebook, it's a little bit brutal. When GEE first came in, like everyone just rinsed him and ripped him, and he got put in polls for like the worst battle, and you know it was really like he came in on a really bad first impression, and then just worked. He joined the bottom 8 tournament. So even to accept that, you know what, I'm in the bottom 8, I'm in 8 of the worst battlers in the UK, but I'm going to enter that competition and win it, and then win a title shot, and then beat the champion and get the title. it's like a film. It's like the real version of 8 Mile. It's like what should have happened in 8 Mile.
Right. Yeah. It's incredible, definitely. Like, you know, as I say, we did the episode, we traced his career, and, you know, seeing him take the belt as well against Bard in the Cypher Lounge was crazy. So yeah, definitely as GWE versus So, looking forward to that one. Danny Jack versus Canel. This is a huge one.
Yeah, it's a big one, I think. Possibly overlooked a little bit on the card, but definitely a big battle. Again, Danny Jack's quite local to me. He's a good guy. And I think with the whole don't flop situation, he wasn't never really comfortable battling on King of the Ronalds. And then now the kind of don't flop situation, well, the situation, I should say, is kind of over. I just thought, you know what, I'll hit him up. And I hit him up. The thing is, I got Canel, I'm pretty sure I had Canel someone else to battle, and then they pulled out. And then I offered Canel someone else, and he said no to them. And then Danny said, I'll battle Canel. So I hit up Canel and said, would you battle Danny? And he said, yeah. And the other day, again, Canel posted up that this is going to be his best performance. He's got his best material so far and everything. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. And they both need challenges, I think. And both of them pose that in many separate ways. So this is going to be intriguing. Pedro versus Colton Shanks. You know, again, a sort of 8 Mile story, I would argue. Colton recently had him on Mastermind. I know I'm going to have you, Hulk, with one on Mastermind soon. We are going to do that episode, so future episodes coming. But Pedro versus Shanks, what are your thoughts here?
For me, like, Shanks is one of my KOTR heroes, if I'm honest with you. I think he came from being a kind of forum. He's self-proclaimed TFN.
Sure.
So those who don't know, that's Team Forum Nerd. And obviously when don'tflop.com was up and running, there was a forum on there. And these guys were just kind of prolific on there. And him, Bard, JTC, a bunch
JB.
of them ended up battling JB, Crescendo. They all kind of came to KOTR and done battles.
They did, yeah.
And out of them all, I think Bard and Carlton Shanks are probably the only two that are still going. And I think them two need to meet in the middle as well. I think them two definitely need to battle. But yeah, Carlton, again, you know, he done, because Chucky P beat him in his tryout, and Chucky P was kind of coined as the next best thing. But then, like I said, Chucky just didn't really put the work in, and Shanks did. And Shanks just took every opportunity thrown at him, worked hard. And now, like, again, I say to Pedro, I want to book you, bro. Who do you want? With Pedro, it's one of two choices. I can get you someone good, and it will be a big battle, like when we got him Tony D. Or do you want just a typical Ronald that you can come and have fun with? And he chose Carlton Shanks out of his own.
Right.
You know, so again, I didn't try and push Shanks into these opportunities. They asked for them. So, but yeah, Pedro said to me today as well that he's writing some bars and that he's going to have 3 written rounds. So it will be a good battle, man. I think Shanks is just getting better and better and better. He took the win against me on a crowd decision. Just beat P Soldier in Liverpool. Yeah, he's just on a roll at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely, and this is going to be a tough challenge, I think, for him. I think I've heard him say that, you know, how do you write for someone who has like 97 battles or something? But I think Pedro can, in many ways, be a chaotic blank canvas that you can just sort of attack in your own way. So yeah, this is going to be definitely an intriguing one here. You know, the card as a whole, going through it, has been one of the biggest Ronald's cards to date, really. It's just shown higher ambitions, you know, higher flex, and there have been battles that really are impressive battles that you really do want to see. I mean, any Dialect battle I kind of want to see because he's incredible. We get to the on-beat section of the card for a second, Hulk. Dialect versus Flabs.
Yeah. Again, I think with the whole Ramsgate or Rapegate case, however you want to call it, kind of helped in our favour again because, as you know, the Chalked Out and Code Red both postponed events or cancelled events, and Dialect was booked, and obviously he's left work to live off of his music and battle rapping, which means he was counting on the battles to happen that were booked. And then when I saw that the events were cancelled, he kind of openly expressed how disappointed he was, and I kind of hit him up and said, well, look, bro, if you need a battle, you know, we got this event happening, we'll happily have you. And then at first he was like, I'll think about it, thank you. And then he got back to me and said, yeah, I'll take Flabs on beat. And yeah, Flabs is again someone who I've been trying to get him good matchups for a while, but again, it's hard to get people to want to battle people. But Flabs is I think, you know, he's quite big. He's a good rapper in terms of music as well. He's got his videos on SBTV. He's got, you know, his Fire in the Streets, etc. So he's to me, he's quite a well-known rapper in London. So I think it's a good matchup. I think in terms of the battle rap community, Dialect's a way bigger name. But if you kind of just took a few local hip hop heads out of a bar or whatever, they'd probably know Flabs more likely, to be honest with you.
Is this some of the first on-beat battles for King of the Ronalds? Have you done others? I can't really remember too many.
It is. We don't actually do on-beat battles. Mickey's openly said that King of the Ronalds will not be doing on-beat battles. I didn't really ask his permission. I just booked them and went, Mick, by the way, we're having a couple of on-beat battles. But I think as well, it's more of the headache for him of editing them up and stuff. So right. I've taken that into my hands to say, like, I'll get them edited up and stuff. So it won't be no hassle for him. And yeah, it's just something different. It's my last event as well. So I'm looking to just do what I want to do rather than just listen to Mickey, really. Right. So yeah,
I mean,
couple of on beats.
What does that mean going forward then? This is your last event. Like, you know, you going to be still battling or?
Oh yeah. Basically, King of the Ronalds, obviously, you know, it's a 5-year plan. Right. And the 5th anniversary is next February. In 2017, I managed to put on one event. As I said, because Mickey's puts on events in the south, Bowski puts on a lot of events in the north. I'm kind of the third wheel that says, yo, tell me when you need me to throw on an event and I'll throw an event. But so I know that firstly, I wouldn't have much. I probably wouldn't have the space in their calendar to put on another event before it's done. And secondly, I think that it's just it's a lot to put on events, especially with King of the Ronalds. We don't really have a budget. We don't really have a sort of business plan as per. We just kind of throw events, and it's hard. Like even now, I mean, I'm saying, you know, this is my last event. If something good enough was to happen for them to say, Hulk, put on another event and it's not going to be, you know, a bigger hassle as it has been, then I possibly would. But at the moment, I think this is the last one I've got in me. To be fair, like I went ahead and I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw this massive event. And I've had a good job for the last 6 years with the same organization. And usually, you know, with events, I'll pull it out of my own pocket and put it in. I've just started promoting this event and I've been made redundant. So even this event here alone I need people to buy tickets for it to be good. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard now. It's really hard now. So I'm going to have to go get back into work, get my money flow back up again before I even think about putting on any kind of events. And this event is happening at a bad time for me. So, yeah, it's just headache. It's not fun putting on events. It's fun battling. It's not fun putting on events. You hardly make any money. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. It's just selfless people at the top, isn't it, really? People who just love the culture.
It is. I've put on events before where I've paid like 4 MCs on the card, and they want, say, 75 to 150 each, and we've sold tickets for £5 and there's 20 people there.
Yeah,
you know, so already you can see where, and that's what I mean. It's good because I've always had a decent job. It's never bothered me. You know, on the day I can just pull it out of my pocket and say here. But yeah, now it's actually getting harder. And I've got a family to think of as well, so I can't really be that selfless anymore.
And the penultimate battle, the last on-beat battle, Bilzar versus Bobby Rex.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I was meant to be battling Bobby on this card. And I still wanted to get him involved. And I said to him, look, I want to get you involved. And he was umming and ahhing about who and how much. And I basically hit up Bilzar. What's weird to me is that, like, I hit up Bilzar and he said, yeah, he wants to, he'll do an on-beat battle, blah, blah, blah. Who am I thinking of? So I kind of thought of Lefty. I think Lefty's also, firstly, he's a big name from Don't Flop. Got a lot of big viewed battles with the 2-on-2s with Big J, etc. Secondly, he's got a lot of music out there, does quite well with his music on Spotify, got high viewed music videos and ciphers and stuff. So I thought that's quite a big enough name to entice Bilzer. And Bilzer actually said, I want someone bigger. To which I was a bit like, I don't know, especially on beat, in terms of actual rappers, I don't know how much bigger I can really get from that. And then I kind of suggested Bobby Rex, and he went, yeah. So, I mean, I like Bobby Rex hasn't even really got music out. So I thought in terms of on beat, Lefty would have been the bigger option, but it turns out that, and again, this is what I say to these battle rappers and stuff who think that we favoritism and push battlers, and it's not up to us most of the time. All we can do is set up what people want to happen. So they decided that they'd like to battle each other, and I think it's going to be a heavy battle.
Yeah, no doubt. Two incredibly skillful opponents, in the peak really of their performances recently. They've been in fantastic form, so very excited to see this. Most excited of all though is to see Reverse Live debut over here. I'm a huge Reverse Live fan, all the way from Zombie Pool Party, which I think was his like side project in like 2009 or something, some sort of punk rock band. I think they got mentioned in the Dirtbag Dan show, to all the grind time stuff when he was battling Topper. He debuted against Diz. Yeah, the Tourette's of Figures. He was there throughout the entire thing, you know what I mean? That real golden West Coast era. And he's vintage, and he's sort of continued battling, but seemingly now has like peaked, hasn't he? Like he battled in obscurity fairly, and now he's getting huge names again.
Yeah, I think I suppose similar to me in a way. Not obviously in terms of the massive stuff that he's done, but I was kind of a main face in the main league for a while, and then I drifted onto KOTR. Started taking lower names, smaller events, and he's been doing like Battle of the Zay battles and No Coast battles and stuff. Again, smaller leagues, smaller events. And now I think it's just time. Like I said, we're both on that trajectory now where we're both back up and getting the bigger names in the scene again, and both out there to prove ourselves. So it just made sense, really. We wanted to get him over from before. We spoke to him before, King of the Ronalds and that, and he never had a passport. And what happened is we was actually thinking of getting him over, and Craig from Code Red wanted to get him over as well.
Right.
And we actually spoke about getting him over for 2 weeks and getting him to do a battle on both of our platforms and splitting the fee. But then nothing came of that. And that was like a few months ago. And then when Yunnan pulled out, I posted in the forum actually about Yunnan pulling out and me needing a replacement. And Chilla Jones actually commented.
Right.
So it was actually going to be me versus Chilla Jones.
Boston's very own, man. Damn.
Yeah, so we got up in the inboxes and stuff, and then Chilla was like, "Oh shit, I've got KOTD on that date." And I was like, oh, "Okay." He was like, "But I can get you someone if you want." And I was like, "Cool." And he was like, "Either Bricks, Belvedere, 40 bars, or Prep." And I was
does Chilla have access to Prep?
I have no idea, but yeah, he basically set me up group chats with all of them, and all of them were like, "Oh yeah, just waiting on my passport," or "Yeah, just got to get my passport." And it just turned out that none of them had passports. So then I was kind of like, well, now I'm on this. I was about to book an American to battle. I'll stay in that kind of mind frame and that wavelength. And then I thought, oh yeah, we was hitting up Reverse Live before. So I kind of hit him back just off the whim, as like, look, would you come over? In fact, I hit up Reverse Live and Real Deal at the same time.
Right.
And Reverse Live got back to me sooner.
But I mean, outside of circumstance, he's kind of a King of the Ronald sort of battler in a way. Definitely.
And you have to remember, we, our plan was we did a Cadillac Ron tour, where Cadillac Ron was meant to be coming over and touring with us and stuff. And I think that whole kind of little West Coast, I think Mickey and Dirtbag Dan have fallen out over Mickey not showing up to Battle of the Zay. But before that, their whole little kind of West Coast movement from Lush, Diz, Dirtbag Dan, Caddy, they all fucked with King of the Ronalds and openly kind of bigged us up and said they'd love to work with us and stuff. So it's just natural, really. He's kind of part of that circle.
Yeah, and inevitably he's going to mention that Mickey stuff, I guess. But I mean that's what happens when you have guests over here. And he is a huge force. If you see him battle, he has such a rhythmic, melodic quality to his delivery that I think is fantastic. He has excellent control, and his references and his multis and just the musicality of how he is. It's going to be tough to battle against Hulk.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said to you, I'm not really going into it as a kind of fan mind frame.
Sure.
I'm going into it as somebody that the fans respect. So I want to battle you. But again, I'm not going to pretend that I haven't watched like a ton of his battles and stuff. But he's just never really. I don't know. I've never really watched him before. Oh my gosh! Like with Tony D. When I've watched Tony D before, when I got offered to battle him, I thought, oh my god, like this is gonna be a fucking challenge, because like this guy is serious and I've seen him take off so many heads, and on his day he's unbeatable. I'm not feeling like that with Reverse Live. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I think he's great, but I'm just not scared. I just don't have no fear in this one.
Any battles of his that you've seen that you enjoyed?
His battle.
Yeah, I think beat him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And things like that give me that little bit more confidence. You know what I mean? And it's like
if hits him.
Yeah, not even to downplay because sick as well. But it's like a Brit went over there and beat him. Cool, he's coming here to get beat by a Brit as well.
Sure.
Yeah,
he's got tons of battles on Grind Time that I've never seen. He's battled a lot, man. He's he's deep in this. 65 battles altogether on Verse Track. I'm sure there's loads more. So
yeah, he's got a recent one on Ruin Your Day versus Geechee Gotti. That was good actually.
Yeah, he battled Saurus just after that. He battled Dago Davalo, who's one of my all-time favourite battlers, like low-key battlers that, no one really knows. That was quite a good battle. Battled Dunch, and he has that sort of bark that I think is quite compelling.
Definitely. I think this is his chance as well to come network with other leagues and stuff as well. And hopefully we'll see him back over here more. Like KOTR is kind of like the casting couch of the UK, you get me? So he's got to come through. He's got to come through us, and then once he gets that respect, everyone's going to love him. So,
and I mean, finally, how do people get the tickets? I should say Saturday, the 28th of April, Fiddler's Elbow. Where can they buy them?
Yeah, so www.ticketer.com/GammaLab, GAMMALAB. I'll post I'll write it in the comments when this is released. But yeah, as I said, this event is come at a bit of a shitty time for me, because as I started setting up the event, I've had to go through a job change and shit. So I need all the support I can get through. If you don't want to, want this event to really bang, just buy the tickets, man, because it's all coming out of my pocket. I'm spending a couple of grand on this event, and I want to see some of it back, man. So yeah, help a brother out.
Yeah, well, obviously we'll put the links below as well. It's going to be an insane event. I'm going to be there, of course. I want to urge everyone to sell out the place. There's been loads of events at Fiddlers recently, be it Don't Flop or Chalked Out or, Code Red or whatever, that have taken over this space so well. And there have been some absolutely awesome events going down. So there's no reason why there can't be a killer King of the Ronalds one as well. So, Hulk, this has been great, man. I guess finally, how do people get in touch with you? Your music, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I ain't really got much new music and stuff, but I'll be coming back with some soon. But the social medias and stuff, Instagram at Real Rapper Hulk, Twitter at Real Rapper Hulk. And yeah, that's about it, really.
Well, again, I want to urge people to buy tickets, or if you listen to this in the future, watch the battles that went down, because the card is exceptional, especially to get Reverse Live over. It's very exciting, but, any card that has Sherpa and Colton Shanks on is good with me. So, Hulk, this has been great, man. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me, Tom.